Well, the something that I thought came easy to me, let's put it that way, was I've always been able to get up in front of people and talk. It doesn't matter what the topic has been. You could hand me something as I walked up on stage, and I would figure out a way to talk about it.
Yeah.
And so that always served me well throughout high school, through college. When there was all those wonderful group projects that you had to work on with somebody, I always volunteered to be the presenter, the speaker, because I could get up in front of the class and talk. So that kind of made those a little bit easier. I thought that came easy to me. And then when it came time to, because the very first episode, because I was going to be talking to people about their issues and what they'd gone through and everything else, I felt it important to sit down and talk about me. Here's why I'm doing this show. Kind of a glimpse in, so that, I didn't want to feel like I was putting people and their stories out there without them understanding that I had gone through some things as well.
Right.
So the first episode, I started it like I showed earlier, talking into I did my trailer for it, talking into the end of my phone, and quickly realized that although, yes, that did work, it did record it, it didn't sound good. And actually I was a wedding DJ for years as well. And so, I wanted good audio.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted clean audio.
Mm-hmm.
And I was on a pretty tight budget at the time. So I was like, well, I see people on the internet talking into their headphones with the inline. I got a mic. I got an inline mic. I'll just use that. So my first episode is me walking around my kitchen, holding up my inline mic on my iPhone, just talking into that. And I, playing the intro music that I had found in the background, over, behind me talking. And so I realized two things. Number one, that wasn't going to last very long. The whole talking into the little microphone thing.
Yeah, there's only so much you can take before you go, I need an upgrade.
Right. I did that episode, and I was like, yeah, okay. And then I tried doing, like putting it on speakerphone. Thought maybe that might work. That didn't work any better. And then I just started looking around, and I bought really cheap USB headphone and microphone, and that worked for a little while. And just the biggest issue I had is I thought that I knew what I was doing,
mm-hmm.
because it can't be that hard. And I was way overconfident going into it, that it wouldn't be that hard, and I could talk about anything, so it wouldn't be a problem. Finding out that talking about me was more difficult than I gave it credit for, and it took multiple takes to get it to where it even sounded like a comprehensive story. And then B, finding out that part of my overconfidence went into the way that I did the audio, and trying to figure out how to make all that work so that it sounded like I was talking, and not like I was talking into a microphone in a hallway.
Yep.
Because I realized that no matter what I was doing before I got a decent mic, that it sounded like I had marbles in my mouth, smush mouth out there. So those were the things that I thought worked well, but I found out that did not work well and needed a quick adjustment.
Well, a lot of podcasters learn on the job. Like that's the best way to learn. I learned almost everything on the job. Like I had some traditional radio experience in college,
okay,
which was super helpful. That learned me more of the software, right? In terms of structuring the show, my host personality style, that's all me, baby. That's all me. That's no one else. And like one of the worst pieces of advice was just like, you got to change your accent, because, I come from Boston. I grew up in Boston. So, and my dad's from Jersey. So I have a little bit of both of the New York Boston accent. And I went to school in Long Island, New York. So they kept telling me, it's like, Will, you're doing this news read or this sports update, lose the accent. We have a New York audience. And I thought that was just the stupidest thing ever. It's like, I get the premise of this, like, yeah, they're not used to, don't say wicked. That's one thing. That's one thing, right? Like, that's fine. I took that out of my vocabulary. I do not say wicked. I took that out. I go home to Boston. It sounds ridiculous when I hear it. So that was good advice. But bad advice is like, you got to fix your R's. Like, I cannot. I was in speech therapy for years. I can't do it. Get over it.
Part of who I am.
like podcasting, it's like, yeah, who cares? Fuck it. You know, like Boston, who cares? Doesn't matter.
Right.
So like learning on the job is a huge thing. And I like that you said overconfidence, because people definitely assume that podcasting is super easy. And in a sense, it is super easy. Like me doing this right now, it's very, very, very easy. But then again, I've been doing it for almost 7 years as of recording this.
Okay.
Whereas I go back to when I first started, the thing I struggled with was I didn't have enough equipment. There was 3 of us. We passed one microphone around in my door, in my frat house room.
Oh man. Okay.
My bedroom. And like eventually we got 2 mics, and then we passed 2. I had my, because I was the first mic. So I had my 1 mic on my stand, and then Dave and Ricky passed on the stick mic, like back and forth to each other. So if we're talking about like a wrestling pay-per-view, we had to go back and forth. Dave's like, I gotta say something. I'm like, all right, Ricky, shut up, hand him the mic. And it only took until I moved out and 3 of us were in 3 different locations where we had to get 3 separate mics. So it's like, yeah, it's like there's some growing pains, but I love telling that story because now here I am with a graphics package and a microphone of my dreams here, you know, talking to someone with similar experiences. So it's just like, it's just crazy, man, how we just get through all these things.